Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to talk about some possible Alan Wake 2 good news as far as the PC version goes. Don't know for a fact if this is good news. It could potentially be good news, but it does alleviate some of my worries for the system requirements in the game itself. Tom Henderson tweeted out that the Alan Wake 2 embargo, and this has been confirmed by Remedy themselves, is going to be lifting on 9 a.m. Eastern Time, October 26th. Interestingly enough, he also noted, seems like most have PC codes for the game. So the fact that Remedy is giving out PC codes, or Epic Games is giving out PC codes for the game, makes me think that they have to be somewhat confident in how the PC version turned out. In prior instances, PC versions have not been given out. I believe Forspoken was one of those games where PC versions were not given out. Last of Us Part 1, PC codes were not given out for that either. At least I don't think so. I don't think review copies for that game just went out in general. It just came out, was a train wreck, and then GG, no re. However, I did get a early access copy of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, so, and that was on PC, so, sometimes that isn't a complete slam dunk home run that, everything's gonna turn out well, but in the case of Alan Wake 2, it at least makes me a little bit more confident. Now, I did upload a video earlier. We took a look and broke down the system requirements. First of all, I think it is a little bit whack that, stuff like DLSS and FSR is being recommended to use, and they're, setting up, how you should use that. Generally speaking, I figured that stuff like that was gonna help elevate older graphics card in running modern games, but it being actually singled out is interesting to me. Hopefully that doesn't cause too much of a, problem with Alan Wake 2 as far as running that game, and isn't a sign of things to come. But, you look at those system requirements and they are crazy. RTX 3070s, 4070s, 4080s, in the system requirements in general, that's always going to be a bit crazy. And 3070, I think, was running the game at medium settings, they were saying. That's a little bit wild. However, there have been a lot of talking points. First of all, Alan Wake 2, if you look at the gameplay, is an incredibly visually impressive game. Nobody is going to be taking that away from Alan Wake 2. That game, so far, the content we've seen of it has looked like a visual juggernaut, and one of the best looking games that we have seen this generation, bar none. I don't have any reservations in saying that. Maybe it's going to be a game that really pushes PCs to its knees, and in fact, the PlayStation 5 version of Control, Remedy's other game, runs at somewhat comparable to low settings. It's just that Remedy games look really good. So, low settings isn't even a big deterring factor for that game, but a 3070 is a monster of a GPU. At least I consider it a monster of a GPU. I know it's a generation old, but, yeah, I feel like the game, it should be able to run Alan Wake 2 better than what's being noted, but maybe, in the case of Alan Wake 2, medium is going to be comparable to other games as high or ultra, and, medium's still going to look really good. There are games that, you can drop it down to low settings and they still look really good, especially if you play it on the ROG Ally or the Steam Deck. Low settings can definitely get you by. Now, Alan Wake 2, I don't think anybody's going to be playing it on a ROG Ally or a Steam Deck. Who knows? Maybe we can get a 24 frames per second experience, that's cinematic experience on the Ally. You never know with these things, so that is entirely possible, but for some reason I don't think that's going to be the case. There is also the concern that, okay, you're handing out review codes. Chances are the people that are getting review codes for a big game like this, they're going to have high-end PCs. So, there are going to be outlets, of course, that are probably going to test out the PC performance, but for the most part, review codes are going to be entirely centered around the game and the game quality, and with most having PC codes, I would imagine that most also have comparable PCs to the higher-end side of the specifications. That's just what I would assume. I don't know that for a fact, and if that isn't the case, my apologies, but hopefully the game does turn out well, because Alan Wake 2 is a game that people have wanted for a very long time, going back to the release in May of 2010, 13 and a half years in the making, and we're finally getting a copy of Alan Wake 2, and it looks like a game that we would have wanted. It looks like what the sequel of Alan Wake should be. Yeah, some people are upset that there's another main character, but I think it's fine given that you're gonna have two distinct campaigns, and they're gonna, obviously have comparisons and come together and whatnot, but the game looks great. It looks like it's going to be 20 hours of content as well, which is a substantial improvement over Alan Wake 1, and it was actually one of the deterring factors of Alan Wake 1 was the fact that it was $60, and it was a game that you could complete in 7 to 10 hours with very little replayability, and at that time, that really just didn't fly, and it ended up being a game that didn't do that well commercially, but over the years, it has built up this cult following. Alan Wake Remastered came out, and the rest is history. Now we have Alan Wake 2, and Epic Games obviously is funding the game, and we gotta talk about it. It is an Epic Games Store exclusive, which I imagine is going to impact the sales of the game. You know, they're doing a lot of things that are outside of the game quality that could ultimately impact the game. First of all, it's an Epic Games Store exclusive, which I generally believe slashes PC game sales quite heavily. I always tell the story about Final Fantasy VII Remake coming out on the Epic Games Store and then it coming to Steam 6 months later, and I had a friend that had no idea that the game was available on PC for 6 months, but when it came out on Steam, just outright told me, yo, Mush, FF7's on PC finally, and bought it before I even could tell him that it's been out for a while. And when that happened, and just other anecdotal pieces of evidence, and you just look at the numbers and the stats, Epic Games Store exclusivity very much impacts the sales numbers of a game. I don't think anybody is questioning that. Obviously, Epic Games is funding this game, publishing it, releasing it on EGS exclusively so they can promote their storefront. I don't know how much longer this can go on, where they are, sinking millions upon millions of dollars into propping up their own store, but taking a hit on their funds, because Alan Wake 2 obviously would have a greater return if it was available on Steam, a far greater return. But the thing is, who knows if it will ever even come out on Steam, given the fact that this isn't a timed exclusivity deal. I think a lot of people are getting lost on that, because I see it in my comments section where a lot of people are saying, oh, I'm going to let the Epic Games Store users beta test this so when it comes out on Steam I can play it, and hopefully it's fixed up if it is a bad PC version. But it might not come out on Steam, guys. It really might not come out on Steam, at least for the foreseeable future, because this isn't a one-year timed exclusivity deal like they did with Dead Island 2, like they did with Control even, where that game ultimately came out on Steam. No, Epic Games is outright publishing the game. They have what I would assume to be full ownership of whatever the hell they want to do with the game. They can do it. They can put it on this storefront. They can not release a physical copy of the game, which I think will ultimately impact the sales numbers of the console version. However, I offer you this. I don't think only offering a digital copy on consoles is going to impact the sales of that game as much as only offering it on Epic Games Store on PC. And I don't think that's a hot take whatsoever. I feel like that's something a lot of you guys would agree with. I legitimately think like the sales numbers for games get slashed by 40 to 60% by not being on Steam. That's a number that, I just came up with, but think about that for a second. 40 to 60%, and that's a wild thing to think about, and I do think a lot of people are not going to be picking up this game just because it's on EGS, and it's a convenience factor. And we say it over and over again, there's 8 billion games that come out every week. You're going to have something to play, and, if you can't play one game, is Alan Wake 2 a big enough game where it's like, man, I need to play this game, Epic Games Store, Steam be damned, I'm playing it on the Epic Games Store because I need to play the game that badly. Maybe for a lot of people it is, but I still think the game is going to get hindered from a sales number standpoint, but I wouldn't expect the game to come out on Steam. And this isn't a thing to crap on the Epic Games Store, it's just the reality of the situation that people want to play their games on Steam. The person from Lorien Studios, he's got a great Twitter account. His name is totally escaping me right now, but put out a tweet that was pretty succinct and to the point of, like, there were so many games coming out that if it's not on Steam, that he wasn't going to play, which is just kind of wild to think about. But I feel like there's a lot of people like that, and hopefully with Alan Wake 2, hopefully it just eventually comes to Steam, a year from now, because I still think Epic Games can make a lot of money on that, and who knows, maybe at some point EGS and Epic Games will throw in the towel of trying to get exclusives and things like that. But when they're publishing the game, I can let it slide a little bit, much like with Assassin's Creed Mirage, where, it's a Ubisoft published game. I guess they can do whatever the hell they want with it. But that'll be doing it for me. Again, some potentially positive news with the Alan Wake 2 port, given that review copies were handed out, and a lot of them were PC. That makes me think the PC version might end up being pretty good. It might just be a game that's super intensive based on its graphical level, and, we look at the game, and it does look insane from a visual standpoint. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.